completely absorbed by that which they're engaging in. And when you reach that level, and these moments can happen at any time really, it's where you reach that level of absorption, there becomes a sense of bliss. Particularly if you zoom out a bit and just start to watch the experience as it's unfolding and moving through you. And, like the harmony that comes with that. Because, if you're playing, let's take chess as an example. There are 3 games in this life that have taught me some important lessons. The first one is chess.
Yeah.
Okay? Because all this stuff with the courts and taking on the banks and the barristers those barristers who were, representing the interests of banks. I just think, well, where's your heart, my friend? You're chucking people out on the streets over what?
Money.
Some credit. No, it's not even money. It's just credit that was extended. It's your credit anyway. Your signature creates it. So what you got? If you don't, so how can you pay back credit? There's an expression, isn't it? Credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Okay. So if someone's claiming a debt off someone else, say, okay, Mr. Banker, I'm quite happy to pay you back that which you say you lent me. But first of all, can you demonstrate the accounting of how this money was created? And then secondly, can I repay you using the same species of money that you gave me? I really want to.
Repay in kind.
Well, precisely. I mean, this is where promissory notes and bonds, negotiable instruments come into play. Because then you apply some critical thinking to the money system, to the fiat money system. And so the second game, so chess taught me a lot really about patience and, planning ahead, trying to think several moves ahead of your opponent. Monopoly was the other one. Monopoly, really shows you in quite obvious ways the nature of the reality for many people.
Yeah.
But what you see, in Monopoly, you've got a token that you move around. It could be the old boot, the terrier, the ship. It's your token. In this game, you've got your legal person, which a person is from persona, which is effectively a mask that you wear. We're all wearing masks. Different situations call for us to behave in different ways. If I'm talking to you now about these things, but I wouldn't be talking in the same way to my mother, for instance, about this stuff.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't be open to it.
Right.
But the issue of the game of Monopoly teaches you important lessons, because ultimately you see that you're not the legal name. That is effectively like the token that you have and move around the table on a Monopoly board. Another lesson you learn from Monopoly is the banker always wins. Well, I think that's going to change, but essentially in Monopoly, that's how it's played. And furthermore, what is it you can do when you're playing the game? Well, you can land on these particular sites or squares, and you can buy the title deed. But what is it you've actually paid for? Because with the mortgage game, as it turns out,
you just paid for the privilege.
You bought the title. You've paid for the fucking title.
Yeah.
Or for the privilege. Ultimately, you're still regarded as a tenant. This is one whole elaborate scam that tricks people into a lifetime of servitude.
Yeah.
And the third game that... sorry, go on. What are you going to say?
I was just going to say, one thing that really did teach me a few things about Monopoly, even though, my family used to always get out the Monopoly board whenever there was a power cut. We'd always get out the candles and play Monopoly until the power came back up. And I always sucked at Monopoly, and I never knew why.
Yeah.
And it's probably because I haven't got that many monopolistic tendencies.
Well, I used to play for hours at length with friends, and you came to one of the things it taught me at quite an early age was that people would fall out over it. People fall out over this game. You see, there's also part of me thinks that this is a kind of game. It's an interesting game that we're playing. Okay, and it provides us with perfect opportunities to learn about ourselves and come to some understanding of that which we call reality. Other people will say, well, it's not a game. It's more serious than that. But it has rules, doesn't it? I famously asked, I was in court over the mortgage a while ago now, and the judge admonished me for interrupting the barrister because I kept saying, objection, I don't agree with that's hearsay evidence. And he said, look, I really must say, you've got to stop interrupting. So I looked at him and I said, look, I apologise to the court for any offence I may have caused, but you must understand, I'm not a professional here. I don't really know how the game's played. And he looked at me and he says, it's not a game. So I looked back at him and I said, well, there are rules out there. I said, it certainly seems like a game to me.
Yeah.
And it is, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
In some aspects, but there's also, so I kind of like the playful side of life. And, there's a lot of stuff out there about how we should become, there's a lot of people about, and perhaps referred to light beings and being lighter, becoming going to the light. Well, lighter, of course, also means being less heavy.
Mm.
And being able to laugh at yourself. Because if you can zoom out, if you just zoom out time after time, this is the art of comedy, I suppose, divine comedy, where you can see the utter emptiness of so many people's lives in many ways, and the utter kind of the duplicity and the trickery that they're operating under. And you think, well, it is some kind of game, but you can't be, if you're heavy with it, it's because you're actually too absorbed in it. You carry around all this baggage that you don't need, thoughts about the past, speculations about the future. Well, okay, it's all right to think about the future from time to time, but you don't want to be absorbed in it permanently. You don't, same as you don't want to be absorbed in the past.
Exactly.
And a lot of people, they look at one of the things that certainly causes a lot of harm to people's ability to think critically is the television.
Yes,
not only because
absolutely.
of the bullshit and the propaganda it's putting out, but also because of the energy waves, the electromagnetic waves it's putting out, and the effect that those have on the brain, combined with all the colours and the shapes and the pretty sounds, and it's fucking over pixelated world. Why would you want to live in a world of such sharp focus? Why do the powers that be want plasma TV screens in every home? And then you think, well, 1984. What does it remind you of? 1984, George Orwell. Whereby they've got screens in every home. But these days, of course, you've got the huge screens in the TV, and then they've got the screens that people are walking around with in their hands.
Yeah, get them from every single angle.
I'm not saying that. I mean, I've watched, probably, believe me, Adam, I've watched a lot of television now, I guess. But now, I haven't had a TV for a couple of years. 3 years now. 4 years perhaps I haven't had it. And, it's just, it's a ridiculous thing. Why would I want one of those in my house? Why?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, me and my girlfriend have a television, but it's only to, play the Xbox through and play DVDs. That's it. And we actually had the TV license guy come round the other week, and I started asking him some questions, and I was saying, is there a law that exists that obliges someone to pay a TV license? And he's like, blah, 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 act, sort of thing. And I'm like, well, that's a statutory instrument, but is that a law, sir? And he's like, well, of course it's a law. It's made by the government. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, sir, but that, I'm afraid to say that isn't a law. And, basically, he wanted to take our names and cause it's like, oh, I see that your TV's on, even though we were watching, I'd actually put on the DVD of Zeitgeist Moving Forward, and we're watching that through, and it was like, no, we may have a television set, but we don't have the means to watch television programming. And I made sure that I put emphasis on the word programming. And it was interesting because even though my girlfriend has lived here for about nearly 2 years, and she'd never ever had the TV license guy come round. It's only because some new people have moved in upstairs that they're like, oh, some new people, we might be able to crowbar our way in there, see if we can
Well, let's, and also, yeah, precisely. Let's reverse engineer it. Let's look into actually what license means. And, often if we want to find out what something, so this is, we're actively, you and I now are engaging in a bit of grammar here.
Mm.
If I give you this, I'm just going to pull it off here from Bouvier's, which is a online legal dictionary.
Right.
Oh, can you hear that?
What was that?
Can you hear that music?
Nope.
All right, that's good. I seem to have got a little glitch in my machine. So when I sometimes click on a bookmark page, it comes up with this. Now, what do they call those? Have you seen those hang drums?
I can't
It's basically
say I
like
have.
it's like a flying saucer shaped drum.
Oh, is that the one where you hold it in between your hands and you move you hold it in between your palms and you move them back and forth, and it's got the two.
No, it's quite big. You sit it on your lap, and you kind of move it like a drum, but you're just tapping it, and it has a wonderful. Again, we're back to that word. It has a wonderful resonance.
Mm.
Now, just to get back to this issue of the license, okay? Because if a guy's coming around and he's saying you need a license, then I've just seen your message, so there you
go. Okay.
What is it he's asking you for? What does he mean by that? Well, this is a good source of information if you want to get to the bottom of the matter.
Okay.
Has that come up there for you?
Yes, it has. But I'll tell you what, we've got to draw this particular show to a close, dude. But we'll have to get cracking on with the next part very soon. But I'd like to thank everyone for listening. It's definitely been a very insightful show. I hope everyone else has enjoyed it. If you want to make a shout out to any relevant websites that you want the listener to be aware of, Michael.
Okay, freetheplanet.net, which is an excellent resource and modus operandi run by my good friend Michael of Benicia. Thinkfree.org.uk, which is a forum for free thinkers, based in Nottingham, where we've got a bit of a community going. And another one I think is the Tragedy and Hope website. Which these are not my websites, but some of the ones I'll send you references to as well.
Yeah.
If anyone wanted to get in touch with me, then they could always contact me at oshun at thinkfree, all one word, .org.uk.
Okie-doke. And
particularly if they've got questions about this, this subject.
Cool. And one thing I'll do for the viewers for YouTube, I'll put all these different links in the video description as well. So basically that's the end of this show. Next time I'm going to be doing the part 2 of my second session with Ben McLeish, entitled "What Comprises the RBE Zeitgeist." But other than that, it's goodbye from me, and say goodbye, Michael.
Yeah, good night, everyone. Good night, goodbye, good morning. Whatever you're doing, put a bit of consciousness into it, and zoom out a bit so you get lighter.
Absolutely. Namaste, guys.
Namaste, brother.